Okay, Matt, you were asking about my homemade drone, and that's a great question with kind of a complicated answer. Um, but here it is, and this is almost ready to fly. And I think this is my fourth iteration with this kind of thing, and varying degrees of sophistication. And really, what it all boils down to is this circuit board right here. This is a generic microprocessor that's designed to drive small electric motors, but it doesn't know anything about drones. And to make this work, a guy actually in Holland did a lot of coding uh, to make it work for his configuration. Mine's a little bit different, so I had to make some changes, but we're working on that. Everything's mounted on what used to be a state-of-the-art frame. A company called DJI, I think, came up with it quite some time ago. And now there's a whole bunch of Chinese knockoffs, and it's on Amazon. If you look down here, there's a power distribution board. You can see the batteries hooked up right there. There's also a transceiver mounted on it right here, and it transmits telemetry information to what they call a ground station right here. That's a LED display, and there's identical transceiver that receives everything. And this all works off of an Arduino board that's underneath all this. There's a whole story behind that, but he wrote code to make that thing work. We also have a accelerometer and a gyroscope right here, which for the life of me, I have no idea how that works, given I remember big gyroscopes on missiles and airplanes and stuff like that that were huge, bigger than a basketball, and here we are with this little thing. That's the receiver. It's actually an 8-channel PPM receiver, so it doesn't need a wire for each channel. All the data comes in a stream on that yellow wire, and the receiver chops it up and sends it to the right place. There's quite a bit of, this actually goes to the microprocessor. There's the antennas, the same kind of diversity antennas you have on your plane. I also have a GPS antenna, and that has a compass in it, which is not being recognized right now. And my project for today is to figure that one out. I think I have it wired backwards on the board. There's also a barometer that's encased in this black box, homemade, obviously, but it will determine altitude and changes and help me out there. And this is all hooked up to a USB to serial converter so that I can then run a test program and actually download the software to the circuit board. And this is running hardware test software, and I can show you simply testing the LED lights. Come over here, and that red light went on, and now the green light went on. And that tells me that the test software is able to talk to everything. And there's a bunch of other tests. We can test the motors. Do that, and take a minute to initialize. There's my transmitter, and you can see that it is in fact driving the motors. And these I got courtesy of Amazon. They're knockoffs of a lot more expensive DJI motors. Hopefully they'll work fine. But I'll show you an old version of, this is the board that was installed when I wrecked the last one. And I took some of the parts off. I hopefully get that transceiver off too. But this is what a back looks like. There's a lot of wiring that goes on. A lot of potentials for errors right there. So I'm going to have to take this board off today and trace through the wiring to see what's going on with that compass, and we'll go from there. So hopefully you're recalibrated your ESC and you're good to go, but I'll talk to you next week on that one.